Hello. Hello. Hi, Cayenne. How are you? So today, Janie's going to be just a few minutes late. She's at a showing. So that's the thing with luxury real estate is we aren't always in charge of our own schedules. But that's the good thing about having both of us here. We can share our great knowledge with you. Janie and I have been discussing getting your business plan and having it ready for 2022. And today I am going to continue that. We've talked a lot about marketing, and marketing is very, very important. However, there's a time when you will have to know the market. You're going to meet somebody and they're going to ask you at a cocktail party or whatever, they're going to say, hey, how's the market? And you should really be prepared for that instead of, oh, it's great. Oh, it's not. So you should specifically be aware of that. For example, this year, so far for 2021, Boston has had an increase of 37.5%, 37.5% increase in sold inventory in condos. And we don't have a lot of single family homes in Boston, but that's a 27%. So you think, wow, this is the kind of information that the big boys have, and they have their own, like, I don't know, some secret sauce. It's not, folks. You go to your state's, you go to your state site. So for us, it's Massachusetts Association of Realtors, and your state, go to wherever, and they will have the numbers. They'll have all of the numbers of how many homes have sold, what the time on the market is, what the absorption rate is. That is something you want to remember. If you get a lead from an agent out of state, they will, or if your client has a home for sale and they're buying somewhere else, and maybe they have a contingent offer based on their property being sold, the other agent will ask you, what is your absorption rate in your market? And you should be able to provide that very, very easily. And that all of that information is in your Massachusetts, or forget Massachusetts, anywhere in your state area. Also go to your board. Your board will also have the same information. You could take this great information and you can actually put it on a postcard and then be able to send it out to people in your farm area. So for your homework, it would be really great if you all did that so that we can discuss it next Tuesday at 1 p.m. Anyway, so that is that. So what I would like to discuss is, what are we going to do to get some listings for this coming year? You could go door knocking. You could go to your sphere of influence and call them, sit down and talk with them. Ask them if they know anybody who might be interested in buying and selling. I'm kind of an introvert, believe it or not, and I don't really like the whole door knocking thing. And so I personally have come up with some great things on how to get potential listings. So whether they are expired or whether they are families that are going to be downsizing or moving to another area. And it's important for you, again, you have to know your market, know where people are moving from. That data is also very much available for you. So with the expireds, we have spoken about expireds before. Expireds are about you can go 2-3 years back, and you have to be consistent in your message. Send them a letter, send them a note, tell them where you are amazing, and then go from there to and then just be able to talk about that. I want to pull up a great listing presentation, because that is going to be a very important part of getting these listings. So there are many listing presentations available out there. I know we have a free one at EXP, and then of course your local MLS has maybe a CMA with the data. And then also I'm always talking about RPR, and RPR is another great process. So let's say that you find that person and you're like, wow, I'm so excited. Now I've got to come up with a killer listing presentation for my clients. So my potential clients. So there's a pre-listing process. So the pre-listing process that I do is I check property on Zillow first. I do, because it's good to have, because whatever they're seeing on Zillow is what you have to be able to speak to. And then Google your seller, find out about them, what's going on, what's driving them. Is there a lawsuit pending? I hate saying that, but could happen, but find out about them. And then drive by the property if possible, and just take a photo of the exterior. If you can't do that, go on Google Maps and you'll be able to take do a screenshot of that property. But the great thing about going and doing a drive-by is that you're going to see whether if that's property is next to a school or a homeless shelter or a double yellow line street. You're going to find out much more if you go to the property. So, and then of course, photograph the exterior if possible. And then I search the seller on social media, LinkedIn, Facebook, any of those things. And then search the property and the seller on MLS and also on RPR, because you want to see if this had a previous listing before, or maybe it's currently listed. You don't know. This happens. So there's someone who is not happy with their current agent and they're interviewing other people. It's a very slippery slope. So you need to be able to walk that line very well and find out what's going on. So then the process, you want to do a map of your market or wherever the house is. If it's not in your main market, find the map. And it's really great if you could get a real map. And then do a complete 2-year sales history. So take the information and just like make little red dots on the map. This is a thing I learned from Jack Cotton, who is an amazing coach. Anyway, then you want to go to the assessment ratios. You want to see what the property was assessed for and what it's sold for, and have that ratio available. And then absorption rates, very important. You want to be able to show the seller that, hey, right now we have less than 3 months of negative 3 months of absorption rate. This is a great way for you to get into a conversation with the seller, showing them right now is a great time to list, and list before the beginning of the year, or in the spring market, because right now there isn't hardly any competition, but there's going to be a lot more competition for houses in the spring, and the buyers are there. I don't believe we're going to be having a winter season like we have in Boston, but I don't think last year we did not have a winter season. I don't think, and we didn't have a summer season either. It was just busy and robust throughout the year. And I see, and I predict that it's going to be the exact same way this year. And then look at your MLS stats and create that and show that what the price was compared to what they got, how many days on the market, and all of that. And then search other agents that have sold houses in that area and find out what they have done and look at their marketing. And when you do this, when you're doing your process, price per something, is it a square foot price? Is it the land price? whatever it is, be very specific of how you are pricing your property. And then talk about what makes this property special. In the luxury market, I always try to find who was the builder, who was the architect. I would have a little blurb about them if they are noteworthy. And then you want to do a reproduction cost. Now, a reproduction cost is if this house were to burn down, or if you had to build this house from scratch, what would the square foot price be to build this house new? And then what would that house, how much would that cost to rebuild that house? Then, and again, we're talking about luxury here, so some of these may not apply to the lower end prices or homes. Look at Noteworthy Neighbors. Now, the way that I do Noteworthy Neighbors, it's a great cheat sheet, but I go to Wikipedia and I put in that town, and it will say all the noteworthy neighbors that had basically ever lived there or live there currently. Then figure out, who are they? Where are they from? Have they been in the news? The Google alerts. Make sure that I take my properties that I have and I set up a Google alert. So anytime something happens with that property or has happened in the past, the Google alert comes up and I know what's going on with that property in that neighborhood. Maybe they're going to be building 400 new rental down the street. That's going to really impact the schools and the traffic. So make sure that you set yourself up for Google alerts. Also set it up with your the Google alerts with your farming area. You want to know what's going on. Join the Facebook page of your area. And if you're not on Facebook, you don't have to post anything. You just have to be there to look for information. And I use Facebook a lot. And my husband thinks I'm always just playing around, but I'm not. I'm actually working. And I have gotten a lot of leads from Facebook and a lot of information that has just been wonderful. So also look at the groups that are in town. You could do that with Facebook, but just you can also go to the town site and it will list all the groups that are there. Look at anything that you're comfortable with, that you like. Perhaps you like gardening, perhaps you like hiking. Join those groups, and it's not that easy. It's not that difficult. Everybody wants to have new members in their groups. And most of the time they're very, very welcoming. Join your local Rotary Club if you can. Join your local, any type of those clubs where it's a networking, philanthropic type club. So look at different organizations, look at different charities. I'm always talking about charities, giving back. It's a really wonderful way to get involved with your community, get people to know your name, run for office. There aren't enough people running for office in their towns. And oftentimes you think, oh, I can't do that. I've only lived here for a certain amount of time, or I'm not good enough. Just do it. You could lose, but at least everyone knows your name and they see you as a leader in your community. So with your first appointment, you need to have a killer cover letter. That letter, you're going to be leaving this packet with them. You're not going to, they're probably not going to be reading it right then and there, but just have a cover letter that shows why you, why EXP, why your group, and what you can bring to them to the table. Other than the normal, everyone brings in this, oh, we could do this, we could do that. But show them examples of how our group at EXP advertises. Recently, Janie did a great one for, oh my gosh, I don't want to say the wrong name. What are the high-end magazines? And she ran a spread. And so that looks good. You could use that spread, say, this is my group. This is the kind of advertising that we are doing. And then do a link to a video. So a video maybe about yourself. You should definitely do a video about yourself. Everybody's doing it. It's not that difficult. Make it less than 5 minutes. When people get to see you that way, it's so much better. So have a link to that. And then if you're sending them a tablet proposal, they can click on that link and then they can also see that. Make sure that you really dive in deep with your background. Let's say you just got into sales. Let's say you just got into real estate and you are like, wow, I don't really have a background. Well, you do have a background, actually. You must have been doing something before real estate. People don't just come into real estate without having any kind of job experience. So think about what you did. Think about how you helped a client. Think about how the client in that industry trusted you and how you have created a goodwill within that company. If you come from a teaching background or a medical background, it's very easy to translate those type of skills to your luxury real estate skills. And again, you can always text or email Janie and I, and we will be more than happy to kind of help you with that. And again, all of this training is free for you because you're with our organization, Game Changers at EXP. So please take advantage of that. And not only do you have access to Janie and myself, but you have access to thousands of other people. And if they're in your area, that's even better. So anyway, so you go through your background and then you must, really master your process. So before, during, and after the appointment, set up the process, think about it, mentally rehearse it, think the most positive thoughts you can about it. And then when you're there, you're not thinking about, oh my gosh, what was I trying to say there? You actually know exactly what you're going to be doing and you are going to look like a master. If you really don't, if you're going for a big listing, and I'm saying over, let's say $3 million, and you are not comfortable, and in your market, it may be different. So like in Los Angeles, it's probably over 10 million. And some places might be over $1 million, but you know what that high end is. And you have not, you're a new agent. Take someone with you. Take somebody who is highly experienced and has a great track record and bring them in as your partner. You are the lead agent. The other person is there to support you. You will have to share your commission, but now you have that sale on the books for your next presentation. Set expectations. Differentiate yourself from competitors. And you're the only one who knows you. Anybody can tell if you just did some cookie cutter thing of, I got my license and I live in Boston and blah, blah, blah. No, you want it to be really from the heart. And don't say things like, I'm going to be honest. Well, let's just assume that all the agents are honest. I'm going to be hardworking. Let's say all the agents are hardworking. What else can I say? Okay, so something like that. Don't use those things because you're kind of insulting other agents in our industry. And we don't do that at EXP or at Game Changers. We are very positive about our colleagues, no matter what company that they're with. And so what you want to say is, we have 70,000 agents that I can contact regarding your property from EXP. I can have access to high-end publications for you. I belong to this group. My kids go to this school. I have a personal sphere of wealth advisors, bankers, people that I will personally talk to about your property to make sure that we get the most bang for the buck when we list your property. So now that was the bullet points. Now your cover letter, it should say something like, it was great to talk with you today. We're so excited about the sale of your property. And there are 7 areas of expertise and proficiency required of an agent to maximize the sale of your property. So value and pricing. And what I say to my clients, there are 2 reasons why a property does not sell: marketing and price. And pricing is up to the buyer. It's not up to the seller. It's not up to me. It's up to the market and the buyer. I can do my best to price it properly. I can guarantee you that I will do phenomenal preparations for your property to bring it to market. I will have amazing photographs. I have aligned myself within my group to have the best photographers, the best videographers. I also will get a website for your property. I will also make sure that we have floor plans done. And within the floor plans, it will be highly interactive. So a potential buyer from another state or out of the country can actually feel like that they are there and they can actually play around with the floor plan and the photos. And I do this, there's a company that does this. I just signed up for a company called RELA, Real HQ. I can send it to you later. Anyway, it's about $59 a month, and they'll do, that's for my website. So they'll do the property website. And then they'll also, this is included, this particular option where you can take the floor plans that are done, and then you could put live links to them so people can really see what room that they're looking at if they're interested in one particular thing. And so that will also be on your website. And preparing property for the market. Curbio is fabulous. We have a relationship with Curbio through EXP. Curbio will come in and they will stage, they will do modifications to the home. They will even redo bathrooms and kitchens, and the seller does not have to pay until after the property closes. And I believe that's like for 1 year, and there's no minimum. So that's a great thing to have in your presentation to be able to offer the seller. They may say no, but at least you have it. And you are competing against, let's say Compass or whoever that has this plan in place within their brokerage. You have to create it that we have this plan in place, and they have things that we can use for our marketing that shows EXP and how we are able to help with that. And of course, there's marketing. I'm a huge believer in Facebook ads, and within KV Core, we have the ability to market the home through Facebook and other social media. So that's a really good one. And then if it's a really high-end home, I will take a beautiful postcard of the home, put it in a gorgeous like silver metallic type envelope, hand address it to the neighbors around there so that they can see what's coming up. One time I did the caption, a little birdie told me that your neighbor's house is coming on the block. Let us know if you'd like to help pick your new neighbors. So call the other agents. This is so important that you have a relationship with the other agents. I just sold a house in Concord for $3.9 million. And the agent that bought the buyer over was the first agent that I had called to tell her about it. And so she bought in the buyer. And so we sold it immediately. And it was a great buyer because she's a professional. She knows what's going on. So cooperating with the other agents, and you should be calling at least 15 agents to let them know that this property is coming on the market before you list it. And if you're doing everything we've been saying to do, you should have a really good feel of who those agents are. Ideally, they're people who you have already befriended and that you're friendly with because you've gone to their open houses, you've offered to help them shut down the lights, you've offered them to help hold an open house for you and that sort of thing. So that should be a very easy list, and it should not take you that long. So call them, text them, and then also send them an email. And you never know, cooperating with the other agents, you might be able to get them to come over to EXP, which would be a really good win for them and for you. And then we are talking about buyer acquisitions. My favorite part, of course, of that is first advertise and again, going back to Facebook, Instagram, now some of these things are free. You just put it on your post. And then of course, Google, and then you do your open house, and then those people come. When they come, KV Core has a product called KV Core Open House. And if you have a tablet, you could have people sign in on that tablet. You will have their information. It says everything, who they are, phone number, where they're moving from, and then also if they're currently working with an agent or not. So then after that, you will get your offer. Time to negotiate. If somebody comes in really low, do not act insulted. That is not our job. Our job is to get offers and present them to our seller. And don't ever say, if something comes in, just say, oh, that's too low. You're not the seller. So you have to negotiate. You don't negotiate with the other agent. It puts you and the other agent in I don't know, in an adversarial type position. And it's much better for everybody involved to let the buyer and the seller think about what is their benefit. So a price you think that the seller might never take might surprise you. They may just say, hey, let's just get it done. And then you just have to do your systems and then support and the execution. So you will be doing your pre-listing, talking about your area of expertise, and then you just set the bar for a luxury real estate specialist and say, my goal through experience, study, and practice is to achieve the next level. I'm a trusted advisor to you in all matters of real estate. In addition, we will set up the process I will follow to prepare for our first and subsequent appointments, and what you can expect during these appointments. And really people are very nervous, like, wow, what's going to happen next? So you have to let them know, I will be calling you every Monday or Tuesday at 2 o'clock, and we're going to go over the last week of what has happened. Set expectations so that they understand. And if you've priced the property aggressively because the seller has requested that, let them know. If the seller has decided not to stage, let them know. Say, the price that I'm quoting you is basically based on a property that has been staged. It's in prime condition, but you may not get that price if we don't do the following things. And make sure that you have an agreement with the seller, that you understand that, because you don't want them to come back not doing anything, expecting the price that you had given them. So anyway, I hope I wasn't talking way too fast, but that is our class for today. And I'm happy to answer any questions. Let's see. Yes. Now, Richard just had a great answer. He said to this, he said, you can also do a search on what the other agents have sold in the area, because they might still have buyers. I did this, by the way, on a $7 million house. I contacted the other agent who I'm very friendly with, and I explained to them that I'm going to have this property on the market, and then say, who are the other agents that showed your property, and then be able to contact those agents that had showed the property. And then also maybe he or she got a client from selling that house that now that person is representing. So you have that. Anyway, thank you all so much for joining us. And if you have any questions, please know that you can always contact me via text, work chat, email. And if you have any advice, if you want me to take a look at your presentation, I'm happy to take a look at it and give you some pointers. So until next week, thank you for joining us. I hope you guys are having a fabulous holiday season, and I hope you all stay happy and healthy. Bye.